Hello everyone and welcome to my bookshelf. Today is going to be a haul video because as you guys know from Create Every Day in May, I went to BookCon and I had an amazing time. I got to see some of my literary heroes and real life heroes. I saw Mindy Kaling, BJ Novak, Meg Cabot, Sam Maggs from the Mary Sue, also Fangirl's Guide to the Galaxy. Who else? Judy freaking Bloom, but you already knew that. Aziz Ansari. I saw Aziz Ansari. Who else? I saw so many people. Rainbow Rowell. Just so many amazing people. I'm still in shock, even though it's been like a week or something since then. So today I am going to show you my haul from BookCon. All of these books, except for 2, were free, and the 2 that weren't free were 2 for $5, so I was like, I'ma take the deal. I'ma take it. It's just happening. It's happening. But yeah, it was super worth it for me. So let's get started on the first book. Okay, so my first book of BookCon Haul 2015 is Augie and Me by R.J. Palacio. So Wonder is one of my favorite books of all time. I tried to read 100 books in 2012 and Wonder was one of them, and it's one of them that stuck with me, which is surprising because I read 70 books and a lot of them I don't remember at all. So yeah, Wonder stuck with me, and then these are 3 short stories in the Wonder universe. And I actually already went ahead and read it because I couldn't stop myself. It looks pretty long. It's a pretty thick book. This is an ARC, by the way. It's going on sale August 2015. It's a relatively short book. I read it in a day. It's 3 short stories. It's Julian, who's the class bully in Wonder. So it's his whole perspective on everything and a little bit after, which is really cool. And then the second short story is called Pluto, and it's about one of Augie's old friends who moved away after a while, and like kind of like a day in his life and what's going on with him, which is really fun to read. And then Shingling, which is the one I could relate to the most because A, it was in a girl's perspective, B, it was about dancing and stuff. It's one of those parallel It's one of those parallel stories because it's by the same author as the person who wrote it. It's a parallel story to Wonder in that it shows everything that's going on in Wonder, but like it's a different classmate and she's not really involved in any of Augie's business much. She's like more involved in the girl drama going on because it's 5th grade and a lot of that stuff, and she's a dancer, so there's a lot of dancing stuff in it and getting to know the girls in her performance. There are 3 of them and they're all from 3 different cliques, so it's kind of like getting them together and stuff, and I really enjoyed it. I highly recommend it. And let's move on to the next book. Okay, so this second book is what made it hard for me to walk around places after a while because I was super tired carrying this massive tome. It's called Marvels by Brian Selznick, and it's also an ARC. It's coming out September 2015. I have not touched it yet since coming back from BookCon, but I'm pretty excited to read it because half of it is like illustrations and the other half is the story in prose. So it's gonna be a super interesting book to read, and even though it looks long, I doubt it'll take that much time because if you can see, all those gray pages are actually just illustration, which is really cool. But yeah, I was recommended this author, but I haven't read him yet, so it should be fun to read. I'm excited. Next. Okay, so this book is called Meatspace by Nikesh Shukla. Brown person writing a book about brown people, and this is about a guy named Kitab who's had a rough few months. His girlfriend left him, he's got fired from his job, so no one told you life was gonna be this way, blah blah blah, and then he meets someone online and, you know, things go from there. What I really love about this book already, even though I haven't read it, is that the guy's name is called Kitab, and it's kind of an in-joke for people who speak Indian languages. Kitab means story, so it's a story about a guy named Story. I'm excited to read it. It seems really interesting because it's about Tumblr and stuff like that. And I'm assuming it might have something to do with meat, just based on the cover. It's a really cool cover, though. Yeah, so yeah, I'm excited to read it. On to the next book! Okay, so this is the first nonfiction book for my haul. It's called Stoicism and the Art of Happiness, and it's about, you know, how being stoic and being happy can be kind of compatible, which, kind of takes me back to when I was obsessed with Chris Crutcher's books, especially Stoughton, which I have on my bookshelf right up there. Yay, you can see it. So it kind of took me back to that a little bit, which I doubt this is about that because it's like nonfiction, so it's like a self-help book, and I haven't really read self-help books much, so I'm excited to read this and delve into kind of a new world of book reading. So this book is one of the books I actually spent money on, $2.50. I know, so much money. But yeah, it's called Where I'm Reading From, The Changing World of Books by Tim Parks. And I bought it from the New York Review of Books booth, so I was like, okay, this is definitely gonna be a like good literary book, and it's hardcover, which I usually don't read hardcovers because, I mean, paperbacks are cheaper, but I'm excited to like have a hardcover, and it's really pretty. And it says it's incendiary, skewers the pieties of the literary world and stuff like that. So I think it might be a warning for the future a little bit of the literary world, which is interesting considering I want to enter it. We'll see how this one goes. So this next book is a classic book. It's The Little Prince by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, because I don't speak French. And oh, it's like really pretty and reflective. It's actually a dark gray color, but you can't really see that because it's super reflective as well. And look, you can see my messy room a little bit. But look at how pretty this cover is. It's, of course, I think everyone knows the story of The Little Prince, but this one has a foreword by Gregory Maguire, which is really cool, and a new reader's guide, and I think it has to do with the new young adult sort of movie I think that's coming out. It's a really beautiful copy. I'm so happy I got it. And it costs $10 usually, and I got it for free, so yeah. Okay, so this book is a book that I have been highly anticipating, but have been too excited to even touch yet. It is Another Day by David Levithan. I am a huge fan of David Levithan, and Every Day is my favorite book by him, and this is the sequel. It comes out in August 2015, and it is Rhiannon's point of view of Every Day, so I'm super excited to read it. Go read Every Day if you haven't, because I don't want to spoil anything about this book, because I know what happens because it's just a different point of view of it. So yeah, go read Every Day and then buy this in August. So this next book is one by an author I've never heard of, and it's a book that I've never heard of, but it was free. It usually costs $16, so that was nice. It is Delicious by Ruth Reichel, I want to say? Rachel? I don't know. And it looks like it's kind of one of those, like, rom-com-ish books at first, because she's unwelcomed by her magazine's colorful staff, vibrant downtown food scene, blah blah blah, but an unexpected turn of events leads Billy to a miraculous discovery, and she finds a cache of letters written by Lulu Swan from World War II, and it has like modern fiction and historical fiction combined, which is really cool, and I am pretty excited to read it. It looks amazing, actually, and it has a lot of praise from nice things, and it's a New York Times bestseller, so it's pretty popular. So this is another nonfiction book from the Teach Yourself series, as was the Stoicism book, and it's Successful Social Media Marketing. I think this would be super helpful for anyone going into any field, actually, but I am excited to read it, and it's a 7-day route to success. Like, it tells you, like, the pros and cons of having social media and how to use them to your benefit and stuff like that, and it looks really short, so I'm gonna give it a read and maybe apply some of the techniques. Hark! Another nonfiction book from the Teach Yourself series. This is Get Started in Beekeeping. So basically what happened was, this Teach Yourself booth was packing up on Sunday, and they were pretty much just giving away books, so I took as many as I could, which is why I have Get Started in Beekeeping, but I assume this will come in handy for my future beekeeping days. I don't know why I have this, but it should be fun to read. Maybe I'll have maybe I'll write a story with a character who's a beekeeper, or a Sherlock fanfic where he actually turns into a beekeeper, since that's a thing in fandom that people enjoy. And it's by Adrian and Claire Waring, who I assume are beekeepers. They've been beekeepers for 50 years! Or Adrian Waring has. And Claire Waring has been a beekeeper for 25 years and is the editor of Bee Craft magazine. They keep around 40 colonies. What is this? What is this book? Okay, apparently beekeepers really have lives. Alright, I'm excited to read it, I guess. It should be interesting. I'm not as excited about it as the others. I prefer fiction, generally, and I also am not really interested in beekeeping, but it is important to save the bees, so, yeah. Okay, next book. These next two books are from that same booth, and they are about French and teaching French. This is called Traveler's French, and this one is called 50 Ways to Improve Your French. I know nothing about French, if you can recall my attempt to say the Little Prince's author's name. But I love learning languages. I'm on Duolingo, doing all that stuff all the time. So yeah, I'm kind of excited, and I've always wanted to go to France. I haven't been yet. So yeah, this should be an interesting foray into the language of a country I want to go to. We'll see how it goes. So this next book is another one of those New York Review of Books book. It's part of their classics collection, and it's called The Death of Napoleon by Simon Leys. And it's actually about the man, Napoleon. And it says he has escaped St. Helena, leaving a double behind him. So it's like if Napoleon did that, and he revisits Waterloo and goes to Paris and, like, kind of, I guess, rediscovers himself. It seems really interesting. I'm excited to read this partially because I paid for it, so I better read it, and partially because look at it, and it's from the New York Review of Books, so it's gonna be good. And it seems, like, pretty literary and, like, up there, unlike some of the other books. So, yeah, I'm excited to read it. Okay, so this next book is called for Life, How Loving Our Neighbor Led Us into the Heart of the Ebola Epidemic. So it seems like a true story about going to Liberia in 2013, and unfortunately it got water damage because, I don't know if you guys know, but it was pouring rain every single day after BookCon. It was crazy. So unfortunately this got book damaged, but it's a true story about going to Ebola and helping people, and I love people who help people. So yeah, pretty interesting to read, and it's an ARC. It's going to be on sale July 21st of this year, so go check it out. Okay, so this is the final book from BookCon that I have on me. The other two were romance novels that I gave to my sister and mom because I knew they would like them. This is called Leaving Amarillo, a Neon Dreams novel by Casey Quinn. It's, like, kind of typical romance novel, kind of not. It's about this country band that, I think, like, rock country, who have been best friends since they were little. Two of them are siblings. One of them's the best friend, who's kind of like the Sirius Black of the trio. And of course, the female sibling and the Sirius Black character love each other, but the brother is overprotective and the parents have died and stuff like that. So, and it's about how it's her last chance to kind of make it as a band. Otherwise, our girl here, what's her name again? I forget her name. It's not on here. It's in first person. So our girl here has to make it, otherwise she has to go to a music conservatory and just live in an orchestra pit for the rest of her life playing the violin. So she really wants to make it, and she really wants to get with her Sirius Black character type guy, and I'm currently in the middle of it. It's fun to read. It's kind of a relaxing read, especially after reading the Wonder stories, which are slightly heavier and slightly, like, more meaningful. So this is, like, a fun and a little bit sexually charged read, even though so far there's no sex in it. It's a fun read, and I really love this blurb on the front of the cover. It says, "This has all the things that make up great country songs. Love, longing, and the requisite heartbreak. A rollicking new series." So I'm assuming this is the first of the series. I kind of hope we get two more books with Dallas's and Gavin's perspective, who are the two guys in the group. So yeah, it's a fun book so far. You should check it out. And yeah, that is my final BookCon haul. But I have more books. Okay, so I got the chance to visit Ugly Duckling Press, which is this tiny, tiny press in Brooklyn, and it's really cool, and I got a couple free books from there, because I got to visit, and yeah, that's a thing people do. This one's called Open Front Door, First Thought, Someone is Burning, and it's a chapbook, and it has the poets Shane Anderson, Louis Friedman, Francine J. Harris, Carl Shalakty, Stacy Chimachak, something Polish, sorry, and Sarah Ann Wallen. And it's just a chapbook of poems and a little bit of prose, mostly poems, and I'm excited to read it. I haven't been reading a lot of poetry recently, so yeah, I am super excited to read that. The next book from Ugly Duckling Press is called Newcomer by Nathaniel Farrell, and it's another book of poetry because Ugly Duckling Press specializes in poetry. And yes, this is how the inside looks, and it's a really pretty cover, and again, I'm just super excited to read some poetry, so yeah. Okay, so the final book from Ugly Duckling Press that I got is 100,000 Hours by Grow Dahl, and it's another book of short poetry, and it looks like it has quite a few poems in it. It seems pretty thick, so I'm excited just to read all this poetry and have fun with it, and it has a lot of white space, which I like, because then it kind of gives me a chance to mark it up a little bit, which I haven't been doing with my books, but I like to do with poetry a lot more than fiction, because it's just like so much more to unpack sometimes than fiction is. That is it for my haul from BookCon and a little bit of Ugly Duckling Press. Check both out. I'm pretty sure BookCon is being held in Chicago next year, so I won't get a chance to go, and this was my first ever BookCon, so it might be my last for a while, who knows. But I loved it. It was such a good time, and if you're in Chicago next year at the end of May, definitely go and check out Ugly Duckling Press's stuff. If you can get a chance, I'll probably link them in the description. So yeah, that was it for my haul. I will see you next time with a new video. Bye!